As you go through the gates to enter these sacred grounds, are you able to sense the uniqueness of this sacred land? Do you sense a holy presence here when you're walking on the grounds, when you're worshiping anywhere on the grounds, when you try to seek and find God in nature and commune with the divine? How many of us take time to pause in our busyness to tune in to this very land itself and the gifts it offers us? How many of us find ourselves awakening to the tremendous privilege of being on these hallowed grounds called Questhaven Retreat? Among Flower's teachings and her writings on retreats and spiritual centers, I found these words from Deuteronomy 33:15. Blessed of the Lord be his land, for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills. Let the fields rejoice, and all that is herein. What do we know about this holy place named Questhaven Retreat? What do we know of the history that precedes our presence here? Those people who were a part of the Questhaven's early history reveal much about its evolution, and much of what I say today will be thanks to their revealing this to us, including Flower A. Newhouse, Dr. Stephen Isaac, and Joy Day, an early follower of Flower, who was the maternal grandmother of Marilee Bolt, Felice Reynolds, and Kent and Blake Isaac. When we study the history, we discover that the sacredness of this land goes back farther in time than we might imagine. For each of us to have discovered this place and chosen to be here today, here in person or online, we can be grateful for our Lord Christ, to whom every inch of these grounds is dedicated forever, to God's divine messengers, the angels, to the perfected ones we call masters, and to the journey Flower and Lawrence Newhouse began together nearly 93 years ago when they were married on All Saints' Eve, October 31st, 1933. Lawrence, who was skilled in the business of printing, and Flower's ministry calling for her to speak the word, the young couple began touring the nation, lecturing wherever her guardian angel guided them to go. As those attending the lectures across the country found in Flower more than a lecturer, more than even a seer, but a divine way-shower, they started to ask how they could keep in touch with this couple who brought them so much light. So Flower began to share a promise with those who came. She told them they were searching for a property where they would establish a retreat center. During the mid to late 1930s, they searched many locations along the West Coast, as far north as Oregon and Washington, as far south as Mexico. Then, as Flower learned that the strip of land stretching 50 miles or so inland between the border of Mexico, north to San Luis Obispo, was called the cradle of the new race. And she began to understand that it was in the southern half of California where her center would be established. In her book, Collected Works 1, Flower calls this area, and I quote her, the seeding ground of humanity's next advance. This magnetic field draws into its crucible innumerable kinds of persons with their multitude of beliefs, interests, talent, and hunger for God.